If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, if you're not into yoga. Oh, hey there. I was just getting ready to install my 52-inch Windward IV ceiling fan by Home Decorators Collection. I'm just coming back from turning off the breaker box, and I'm about ready to begin the installation process. If you found this video, you might be stuck in your own installation process and are looking for some help. Well, this video is here to do just that. We're going to cover the entire installation process from start to finish, but if you want to fast forward to your certain step, you can click the links below in the description and that'll take you right to that point. So I've already turned off the electricity at the breaker box and at the wall switch, so I'm about ready to begin. I've unpacked the whole ceiling fan from the box, and I have the manual, and I'm just going to compare the parts that I have to the manual to make sure that I'm not missing anything. First things first is the mounting bracket. This comes pre-assembled in the canopy and the canopy ring. Next are the 5 blades, the downrod, the light kit, the decorative motor collar cover, the motor, the glass bowl, the remote and receiver, the hardware pack, and 2 CFL light bulbs. Looks like we have everything. We're about ready to begin. Let's talk about some tools. We're going to need a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, some electrical tape, wire strippers, wire cutters, and a voltage tester just to make sure that the wires aren't live. Now at this point, if you don't feel comfortable working around electricity, just call a licensed electrician. Better safe than sorry. That way nobody gets hurt. We're also going to need a ladder to reach the ceiling. And the last note is if you're just replacing a light in your ceiling, chances are the outlet box isn't acceptable for ceiling fan support. You're going to want to replace it with an outlet box that is acceptable for ceiling fan support and is marked on the inside that it is. If you use a plastic outlet box, over time that plastic outlet box will fail, your fan will fall down and possibly hurt somebody. So better safe than sorry. Let's begin. The mounting bracket comes pre-assembled inside the canopy. To remove the mounting bracket, first twist the canopy ring to remove it and expose the screws. To remove the mounting bracket from the canopy, you'll first need to loosen the 2 J-slotted screws. Then you'll remove and save the 2 standard screws. Once the standard screws are removed, simply twist the mounting bracket to remove it from the canopy. Before proceeding with the installation, remove the cardboard motor stops. These are 2 cardboard flaps that are in the motor housing that prevent the motor from rotating during shipment. Then remove the red warning label attached to the set screw, and using a flathead screwdriver, loosen but do not remove the set screw in the motor collar. Begin routing the wires in the various pieces by first removing the rubber band holding the wires together, then stretch the wires out to make it easier to route the wires. The first piece is the decorative motor collar cover. Route the wires through the bottom, or the widest end, and pull the wires through and place the decorative motor collar cover onto the motor. Next, you'll route the wires through the canopy ring. Make sure that the slotted side of the canopy ring is facing towards the ceiling. Then, route the wires through the canopy. Insert the wires through the hole in the bottom, making sure that the slotted side of the canopy is facing towards the ceiling. The last piece is the downrod. Route the wires through the bottom threaded end of the downrod so that the wires exit through the top part with the ball on it. Pull the wires through and then slide the canopy and the decorative motor collar cover onto the downrod. This will keep all the pieces together and make tightening the downrod much easier. Insert the threaded end of the downrod into the motor collar and turn clockwise until fully tightened. With the downrod fully tightened, use a flathead screwdriver to tighten the set screw in the motor collar. This fan features a safety tab on the motor collar that will lock the downrod in place should it ever loosen. Once the set screw is tightened, slide the motor collar cover down over the motor collar. To install this fan without the downrod, you'll first need to remove 3 screws from the top of the motor. Just remove and save every other screw. Next, you'll need to remove the bottom ring of the canopy. Do this by simply pressing the 3 studs inside the canopy. Then, take the rubber gasket that was included in the hardware pack and route the wires through the gasket and place the gasket over the screws and holes on the top of the motor. Then route the wires through the bottom of the canopy and place the canopy on the rubber gasket. Align the holes in the canopy with the holes from the screws that were removed. Attach the canopy to the motor using the 3 screws that were previously removed. Measure the wires about 10 to 12 inches from the top of the ball and then cut. Then, using a pair of wire strippers, strip off about a half an inch of the insulation from the wires. It's a good idea to cut the excess wires, which will make wiring the fan much easier. After stripping the wires, twist the ends together so that the wires aren't frayed. The slide-on mounting bracket is easy to install. Just loosen the screws in the outlet box and then align the slots in the mounting bracket with the screws and slide it into position. There's no need to remove the screws from the outlet box. This is just a demonstration of how it works. Loosen the outlet box screws and then feed the house supply wires through the top of the mounting bracket. Then align the slots of the mounting bracket with the screws in the outlet box and slide it into position. Then, using a Phillips screwdriver, firmly tighten the 2 screws. When hanging the fan, it's important that you line up the notch in the mounting bracket with the slot in the ball and the downrod assembly. When properly aligned, this will keep the fan from moving and wobbling. This close-up just demonstrates how the slot from the ball and downrod assembly will rest on the notch of the mounting bracket and prevent it from moving. To hang the fan in the mounting bracket, move the house supply wires out of the way and lift the assembly and slide the ball into the mounting bracket. With the ball in the mounting bracket, twist the fan motor assembly until you feel the slot of the ball line up with the notch in the mounting bracket. To install the receiver, make sure the house supply wires are out of the way and pull the fan motor wires to one side. Insert the receiver between the ball and the mounting bracket with the flat side towards the ceiling. When hanging the fan using the close to ceiling mount method, use the hook on the mounting bracket and the hole in the canopy to hold the fan closer to the ceiling to make wiring easier. This is just a demonstration to show how it hangs. Make sure to use the standard hole when hanging and not the J slot to avoid the fan falling. So lift the fan up and hang on the hook in the mounting bracket, and then install the receiver with the flat side towards the ceiling into the mounting bracket. Do not leave the fan assembly unattended at this point. This fan includes 2 different size wire nuts. The small ones are for making the wire connections between the receiver and the fan, and the larger ones are for making the connections from the receiver to the house. Begin wiring the fan by taking the green wires from the mounting bracket and the ball and downrod assembly and twisting those 2 together. Then take that connection and connect it to the bare or copper wire from the house. These are your ground wires. You'll finish the connection using a large wire connecting nut and electrical tape. Next, you'll take the red wire from the receiver, labeled AC in L, and connect that with the black or hot wire from the house. Twist those two wires together and finish the connection using a large wire connecting nut and electrical tape. Next, you'll connect the white wire from the receiver, labeled AC in N, and connect that with the white wire from the house supply lines. Twist these wires together and finish the connection using a large plastic wire nut and electrical tape. With those connections made, push the wires back up to the outlet box and around the mounting bracket. Now it's time to connect the receiver to the fan. Start by taking the white wire from the receiver, labeled 2 motor N, and connect that with the white wire from the fan. Twist those two wires together and finish the connection using a small plastic wire nut and some electrical tape. Next, take the black wire from the receiver labeled 2 motor L and connect that with the black wire from the motor. Twist these two wires together and finish the connection using a small plastic wire nut and electrical tape. Finally, take the blue wire from the receiver labeled 4 light and connect that with the blue wire from the fan. Twist these two strands together and finish the connection using a small plastic wire nut and some electrical tape. It's important to use the electrical tape to finish all of the connections so that the wire connections don't loosen over time. Loose wire connections can lead to the fan malfunctioning, and nobody wants that. Once all the connections are made, gather up all the excess wire and tuck it up into the mounting bracket to make room for the canopy to attach. To attach the canopy, push the canopy towards the ceiling and align the J-slots with the two loosened screws in the mounting bracket on opposite sides, then twist counterclockwise to hold in place. Then tighten the screws using a Phillips screwdriver. Then, using the two screws that were removed at the beginning of the installation, insert those screws in the standard screw holes of the canopy and firmly tighten to hold the canopy in place. Finish up the installation by attaching the canopy ring. To do so, align the slots in the canopy ring with the screws on the opposite sides of the canopy. Then push the canopy ring up towards the ceiling over the screws and twist counterclockwise to lock it in place. To attach the blades, you have 15 blade attachment screws. The blades are marked this side up. This side goes towards the ceiling. To attach the blades, slide the end of the blade into the slat in the side of the motor. Then align the screw holes of the blade with the screw holes in the motor housing. Then insert the screw to hold it in place. Then tighten the screw using a Phillips screwdriver. Use 2 more screws to finish the blade installation. Repeat this process for the 4 remaining blades. Make sure all screws are securely tightened before proceeding. The light kit has 2 keyhole slots and 1 standard screw hole. These will line up with the 3 screws in the bottom of the fan. To install the light kit, you'll first loosen 2 screws and remove and save 1. Next, connect the wires from the light kit to the wires from the fan using the plastic connectors. Connect the white wire from the light kit to the white wire from the fan, and the black wire from the light kit to the blue wire from the fan. Once their connections are made, Tuck the wires into the light kit and align the keyhole slots of the light kit with the 2 screws that were loosened in the bottom of the fan. Push the light kit up, and once the screws come through the keyhole slots, just twist it to hold it in place. Then, using the screw that was removed, insert it into the standard screw hole slot and tighten using a Phillips screwdriver. Then tighten the 2 screws in the keyhole slots. Make sure that all screws are completely tightened. This fan comes with 2 GU24 CFL bulbs. To install them, align the posts in the bottom of the bulbs with the holes in the sockets and twist to hold in place. Once the bulbs are installed, it's safe to turn the power back on at the breaker box in the wall switch. To install the bowl, push it up into the fan motor and twist clockwise. If you need to remove the bowl, it's best to hold it by its edges, push up a little bit, and then twist counterclockwise. Remove the remote control from the wall cradle, and then remove the battery cover from the back of the remote. Place the included batteries inside the remote according to the diagram inside the battery compartment. If you have another remote control fan in the house, you'll want to change the dip switches to avoid interference. The dip switches are located inside the remote control and in the receiver. Using a small tool, you can set them however you want as long as they both match. Make sure power is restored at the breaker box and wall switch. Use the light button on the remote control to turn the lights on. Use the fan button on the remote control to cycle through the fan speed, starting with high, then medium, then low, and then off. The remote control is a thermostatic remote and will turn the fan on automatically depending on the temperature in the room. You could set the temperature settings by hitting the fan auto button and then using the up and down arrows to a desired temperature. Once the temperature in the room reaches within 4 degrees of that setting, the fan will automatically turn on. The remote also features a fan timer. To use that, hit the fan timer button and then use the up or down arrows to select the time to turn the fan off automatically. The light timer button works the same way. Hit the light timer and then use the up and down arrows to select the time in which the light will automatically turn off. Pressing the light delay button will turn the light off after 3 minutes. This is convenient if you're leaving the room and don't want to walk in the dark. The fan's rotation is controlled by the reverse switch located on the top of the motor housing. That's it! Congratulations! Your brand new ceiling fan is now installed. Time to sit back and relax with a nice cold beverage and enjoy your work. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, click the like button below. That'll help other people find the video too. And as we always say, keep it breezy.